Welcome to AstroEnergy with Astrologer Angel Shelley Overton. This is Shelley. You're listening to the AstroEnergy show on Blog Talk Radio. And I'm going to turn up my mic just a little bit. Okay, so welcome to Mercury retrograde, my world for the next 3 weeks. Anyway, and everybody else's. Okay, so we've got a lot going on, of course. We just had the eclipse, and now this week we're going to have Saturn go direct. But currently, I'm going to do the current planets in the sky, and we've got Uranus at 28 degrees Aries retrograde, which was part of the fire trine with the eclipse. And the other part of the fire trine was Saturn at 21 Sagittarius. So the eclipse happened at 28 degrees Leo. As the show is happening now, we've got a 29 degree Leo sun. So let's see, I can't throw them down on the computer. Okay, so the grand trine, what's happening with the grand trine and fire is that because it's at the end degrees of fire, it's really wrapping up this story about how to have autonomy within self-promotion, within your sense of self and in your own person and your ego. It's also because that's the Uranus and Aries energy. It's Saturn and Sagittarius, so it's about, it can be about education, but it is very specifically about growth and spiritual understanding, which can translate into education, can translate into training and learning and understanding. And it's also about your career and life purpose, because that's what Saturn rules. It's about karma. And because of this energy, coupled with the autonomous energy, we are finding a frustration right now. Saturn is retrograde, so the frustration is there. And so Saturn in Sagittarius means that we are dealing with career and life purpose, but in a sense of how we are connected to the collective and how we are expressing education or spirituality or growth or structure, or anything that Sagittarius understands. In the process of that, wherever this energy is, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter can polarize people and polarize thinking and polarize the energy that we are in, whatever it is, whichever house in your zodiac it's in, it will create this polarization in your life. And because it's Saturn, it restricts you around that. So you feel like the freedom, which is a hallmark of Sagittarius and a hallmark of Jupiter, is not open and expressive. It is being held back. And I can tell you that frustration is very strong with me. Saturn is making us own that energy, and we want to understand what it is in our lives that polarizes us, and not just say, okay, well, I have to decide. You don't necessarily have to decide. What you have to do is accept and know that that's part of your makeup. Wherever you're finding this polarizing energy, then it's about, okay, there's nothing I can do about it. You're just going to have to integrate it, and that's part of the story. But at the same time, it's also the ending and the culmination of all this. And so with the sun, moon, of course, it's masculine and feminine, assertive and receptive. It's mom and dad. It's opposites, honestly, or complementary, which is both. And if you think about polarization and polarizing energy, so Mars is coming up on the sun, which is at the last degrees. Of course, the sun is moving into Virgo, which means that we're going from the fire energy or action-based energy into the pragmatic energy. So the end degrees of sun in Leo and also the late degrees of the eclipse and also the fire trine means that we are at the end of a certain amount of ability to take action. Saturn in Sagittarius at 21 has been pointedly showing us that there's, especially with Capricorn energy, which expresses through Saturn, we are having this restriction going on, and it's kind of like, in a way, a bully holding your face right up next to what it is they want you to see. And it's so close to your face, it's uncomfortable and you're trying to see it, but it isn't going away. And so all you can do is breathe your breath on that thing that isn't going away and say, it's there, it's a tangible thing, and this is what it is. And what it is that you're not able to take action the way you want. You see what it is you want, but you're being held back. And at the same time, you're at the end of an energy of expression. And so what that means for us in our lives is that wherever this frustration is we have to accept what it is and let go and trust that this is the process of the universe. Because in, 4 days, Saturn will be going direct, and then it will be a certain amount of release until December when he actually goes into Capricorn. So what's happening is when Saturn goes to the direct motion, it's taking away that frustration, and it's actually going to help us create the physical structure of the energy we've been feeling we need to do. And so for me, it's just feeling like I have to get my house cleaned up and organized and ready. And I don't know what for, but it's there. And it feels like there is some kind of move or movement of energy coming in. And so we are trying to get ready for that expression. And this week is kind of the last bit of that intense frustration and withholding energy that we've been feeling. So anyway, so that's really the energy that I've been picking up and the information that I'm understanding. The other planetary energies, we have Venus at 25 Cancer. So she's been going through this part of the sky for a while.
Moving on, Mercury is retrograde at 7 degrees. And so we have this energy of electronics, communications, and thought not going very well right now. And it's in Virgo, which means it can be things of help and service, medical, and also educational, which, like I said, Sagittarius is educational and expansive and growth-oriented, and Virgo is more the teacher. And so the teacher is not necessarily giving you the information you need in your life or the way you want. This is kind of difficult. I'm not going to lie. I take my son back to college tomorrow morning, and I just wonder, because every time school starts, I look at the aspects for that year and what's going on astrologically towards how the year might go. And having Mercury in retrograde, frustrating for school because it means things are going to be done over and over, and that maybe teachers will change or classes will change and things will be constantly moving there for a while during that retrograde. And it kind of sets up the tone of the year for school as well. So you can look to some of that going on since we're all starting to go back to school. That energy is fairly strong. And then Mercury gets back into Leo, and in the process, she crisscrosses the energy of the sun just freshly out of retrograde eclipse. And so what happens is when the sun goes into Virgo and then Mercury crosses the sun's path, then they have a conversation. There's communication. And there's not only that, but the sun is bringing eclipse energy, because remember, the moon, well, it works both ways, actually, looking at how all the planets are moving right now. The sun and the moon joined together yesterday. Not long after that, at N degrees Leo, the moon moved away from the sun, and went forward and went into the Virgo energy almost right away. So the moon went into this work mode, and it took the energy of ego and creativity and children and romance and all the things Leo stands for, the storyline and the drama, and it shifted and transmuted the energy into this much more earthbound, pragmatic energy. And so what the moon wants to do is express some of that information that she got from the sun. And now it's time to roll up our sleeves and get going with it. But because the ruler of Virgo is Mercury, and the moon and Mercury just literally this morning, it's only 3 degrees apart, moon and Mercury are 3 degrees apart, they had a kibbutz this morning. And so the kibbutz was about what the moon learned from Leo, all the energy, all the creativity, and how the moon can really nurture through education, through expression and tangible means. And then Mercury said, okay, I'm going to take some of that information and I'm going to go back to the sun, and the sun will move forward also into the Virgo energy so that they can understand each other and it won't be kind of a blinding light. So Mercury and the sun will meet up and talk, and let's just find out, because I don't have my ephemeris here, but I know I can find it through, well, I have multiple ephemeri, and now I have to look it up here. I fully appreciate the show is kind of disjointed and probably difficult to listen to or keep up with, so I apologize, but I know that my fans of astrology have very sharp minds and will be able to follow along and not get too lost and maybe frustrated. And I understand. If you can't stick with me, I completely get it. So the sun enters Virgo at 6:20 p.m. today. So we have this shift again. It's following the moon. And so now we're feeling, and the moon, remember, the moon was following the sun. Now the moon is ahead of the sun. So the moon is blazing the way into the educational aspect, the pragmatic aspect, and also coming up on Vesta, which is keeper of the information. So information that has been restricted or held back from you, or maybe a person is in your life and they're not necessarily giving you what you need at the moment, and they're kind of being a taskmaster also. The Vesta energy is very much, restricting and keeping of that information is basically what I want to say. And so that the moon will say, okay, I understand you have this, but now I'm going to need it. And it can very well relate to what's going on in your home life and around the family. And it's definitely going to relate to children. And as we go into the school year, not surprising that this is absolutely the time that all this energy is coming out, and this is how school year is getting off to a start through, different people. Okay, again, moon is mom. So Mercury right now in Virgo is the teacher. The teacher was getting all their things ready for teaching school. So if you think of that, if you think of the astrological energy that way, then it kind of becomes a little bit easier to understand. So we've got, teacher out there getting prepped for school, getting all the ducks in a row. The children come in, and then mom and dad have this big connection and powwow, which is the eclipse. And now mom's going off forward into the whole realm of education, and she's going, no, my child needs this, 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 and this. And she talks to the teacher, which happens today. Now, she's already talked to the teacher, and the teacher's coming back to talk to her. The moon moves on to Vesta and says, okay, what's going on here? Because I really need to have some more information. This may be the school board. This is the entity that keeps the information. So it could be the school board. It could be rules and regulations, whatever it is. The moon's going to go and take care of that. Meanwhile, Vesta's coming back and trying to get another perspective from the more authority figure or the leader, which is the sun. So the sun moves out of the realm of summer and children and playing, which is what it was in, the sign of summer, Leo. And now it goes into the deep educational waters and meets up with Mercury. And then now the teacher's going and talking to the authority figure, her boss, or maybe dad's getting involved, either one. It's masculine. It can be masculine energy. And then the teacher says, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but you're kind of coming from ego, and you're a little bit pushy, a little bit aggressive. I'm not so sure about that. So I'm going to go check out a little more information about where you're coming from. And then Mercury goes back into Leo. And so Mercury gets back into Leo. Let's find out when that happens. And we're looking it up here. So Venus enters Leo on Friday, the same day Saturn goes direct. And Mercury, where are you, doll? I think it's like the 6th of September. So we'll just look at it in a different format. What do we have here? 11th. So on the 11th, I take it back. Oh, it's just getting the right one. Here it is. Okay. So Mercury goes back into on the 1st. So, oh no, I take it back. I'm sorry. See, look at that. What a dork I am. No, it is. I take it back. It doesn't say it the way I expected on here, but it is the 1st of September. Okay, so on the 1st of September, we're going to have this Mercury going back to the energy of Leo, and now Mercury is saying, okay, well, I talked to mom and dad, and apparently their child needs a little bit more creative play. And so we're going to see teacher go, you know what, I've got some of these creative things that I can bring into the teaching environment. And maybe we need to get creative about how we're dealing with your child. And we may need to change a single class or, you know, and I give this as an example so you can apply it to your own life and say, hey, how is this applying in my life? Like it could be even in the workplace, and this is a teacher or a coworker or someone that you're doing a project with instead of a teacher. But you get the idea that there is a shift and a change, and everybody's learning how to get along. And when the planets are faster moving, when it's the sun, the moon, Venus, Mercury, Mars, those are the faster interpersonal planets versus the slower moving ones, which are transpersonal planets and deal with how we are as a collective group to each other. So the interpersonal planets are all trying to understand how to work along with each other one-on-one and as more of a family. And so that's kind of the process that we're going through in the next month. And Mercury gets back into Leo, again, gets to the point of understanding the eclipse energy because he's moving back to that degree. And he'll actually get to 2835, and the eclipse was at 2852, if I'm not mistaken. I just did a lot of stuff. I posted, and if you're interested, I posted an eclipse moving forward article blog on astrologerangel.com. I just posted it yesterday. So you can see more information about how we're moving forward in the next year and not have all of this electronic fakaka, pardon my language, going in with the current podcast. So anyway, you can tell my mind is like bouncing off the walls because of the Mercury energy coming back up on my natal Mercury. So I'm like got this intellectual clarity, but at the same time a little bit of anxiousness, which we can all feel with Mercury and Virgo. And then also Uranus just went retrograde 10 days ago. So there is still a little bit of anxiety around that and the interaction of that planet. And I know I'm taking a long time explaining this, but I was kind of off at the beginning. And so I'm going to let the show run over time. It'll be about 10 minutes longer today so I can get to some calls. So thank you for waiting. Oh, and that's so ironic. I can see my home phone number up there on the screen too. Okay. Jupiter in Libra, 20 degrees, moving into the last 10 degrees, which is the Gemini decan in the zodiac, which means the last 10 degrees kind of answers in an energy to Gemini. And the reason I say that the first 10 goes along with the same sign that it's in. The middle 10 is the next sign of that same element, so it would be Aquarius. And then the last 10 are the last, is ruled by the last sign of that element, which would be Gemini. And so the Gemini energy, Jupiter is now answering to Gemini, and that means that relationships are going to start seeing probably multiple partners and multiple options, and it's going to be that way through October 11th. And let me just double check my dates here. So many windows. Okay, there we go. I'm just trying to find my online ephemeris, and if you're interested, that's at astro.com. They have, if you just type in Google 2017 or any year you want, ephemeris, it'll come up, and one of the options is astro.com, and I really like it because I can scroll up and down very quickly and go and look at what's going on there. Okay, so October 7 goes to looking. Not Saturn, Jupiter. Jupiter changes 11th. So October 11th, which is a really interesting date because it comes out to 10-11, and it's a very big, new, fresh energy. It's new in numerology. The 1 energy is new, and then 3, 10, 11, as up to 3, is the master. It's an ascended master number. So that's okay. So we've got going around the zodiac. So Jupiter will be dealing with the Gemini influence through the time that Jupiter goes into 0 degrees of Scorpio, which again will be Scorpio energy, so it's very much about commitment. And so between now and October, we're going to have a little more fun, a little bit more lightheartedness, and definitely people may not be telling you the truth, so pay attention, especially in relationships, I think, because there are multiple partners. Obviously, you're not going to find out about all of them, I would think, because if somebody is doing that, then they're not necessarily telling you that they're seeing more than one person. So I would say in relationships, be a little more cautious between now and October. And in October, October is kind of the vindictive time when it comes to Jupiter. It's going to be like, I know about this information, and now I'm going to call you on it, and now you need to make a choice, and now you need to make a decision. And that's the energy of Jupiter. Or actually, the energy of Scorpio, and then Jupiter is the energy of being out the truth. Okay, so we move on to Saturn and Sagittarius. We talked about that. Pluto at 17, Capricorn retrograde. Again, Pluto retrograde, going back over some old ideologies, some old fears. And it is one of the points of another trine going on now with Juno, looks like, Pallas Athena, and the Moon Mercury conjunction, and Pluto. They're all in mid-degrees, and also Vesta. Actually, Vesta, Pallas, and Pluto. So it's about, so it's going to be about feminine energy and power and authority and getting over your fears. And honestly, I want to tell you, there's a lot of feminine energy coming in authority, and it's going to happen next year. And I think that as we go in the end of the year, we're going to see it more and more. The feminine energy is going to start taking more authority positions in society. And in personal, you're going to start taking more personal responsibility. Okay, and I'm just trying to race through the last little bit. So Neptune is at 13 Pisces, directly opposite today, the Moon, Mercury energy, and also Vesta. So it is coming to terms with some vision of how you want things to be and integrating. So it's not only an opposition, meaning there's a contrast, but it's also an integration and an understanding, like in a yin-yang symbiotic way. So we are having to pay attention to dreams and go back over and be more clear about what our vision is and reiterate. So it is a major month shift and change with the energies. Well, the programming are changing signs. We are shifting back into learning mode, and so that's really kind of the focus of this week. And on top of it, pay attention to your electronics, and thank you so much for your patience. I am not going to do another break here because of all the difficulty, but I'm going to take a call, and we'll see. Give me a second here, and I'll take a call. So let me see if I can hear you. Okay, 313. Hello, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can. And
Hello.
I've got an echo on you, but is this Robert?
I mean, I'm in the bath. I was sitting in the bathroom soaking while I listened. Let me get up out of here and get up out of the echo. We got enough echoes.
That's so fun. Yeah, there's a lot. And
How are you today,
I seem
ma'am?
to be heard okay. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you great.
Okay, great.
Is that better?
I'm going to actually, that is so much better. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it was you that took it off speaker or something.
No, I was in the
actually can now, okay, yeah, but you were echoing just like I hear it in my headset. So what happened was I had my headset up and my earbuds to my phone at the same time because I wasn't hearing through my earbuds. But now that you did something, I can hear you on my headset on my phone, which is awesome, and I don't hear you for me. So much better. Thank you for doing whatever it was you did. So, yeah. So what can I do for you today?
I actually got you. You started on it. I meant to call last week, but I fell asleep on you. I actually want to know what Saturn is doing in my chart and where that solar eclipse hit me in my chart.
Okay. I want to confirm. This is Robert, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I swear you call me all the time and I cannot find you. Mercury,
Well, the thing is, if you don't remember we're both September 10th, so.
No, but the year is different. You're 65?
67.
67.
Yeah,
I was just trying to be
weeks.
expedient and get it off of my computer, but I can't find you on my list. So I apologize. And then I'm going to put you in again. I apologize.
No harm, no foul.
So,
no harm, no foul.
No. Okay. I don't know why I have such a hard time with your name. It's Vaughn Robert, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you go by Vaughn, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do I want to call you Robert?
You know what? Either one of them works. That's what some of my family members call me. That just out of GP.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm September 10th,
All right, just tell me your
1967.
Detroit, right?
Yes, ma'am. 10 o'clock a.m.
Okay. 10 o'clock a.m. Got it. Okay, we're good. Man, I'm so self-conscious right now. I apologize. I want to apologize repetitively, which is my Virgo nature. So anyway, that's me. Okay, so you want to know where Saturn hits, right?
No, what Saturn's doing in my chart and where that solar eclipse hit me in my chart.
Okay, wonderful. So the solar eclipse hit you just inside the 11th house, which is your soul group. And, you can kind of look at it as friends, but I really have changed what I assign to it, and I see it as more the people that you hang around that support you in your life purpose. So it can be friends, but it's associated with career and life purpose. And it's literally it was 1 degree off of your natal Venus. So it is going to be about romance, and within your career, it's about your desires. It can be about money from career, and it's about the people who can help you do what it is you want to do. That being said, you've got all this energy that I just talked about at the beginning, or just a few minutes ago, with the shift and change from Mercury to Leo and Sun into Virgo. All that's going on right over your head on the Venus side. So. And it can be about fame and attention to what you're doing also, because that's the Leo energy. And so all this shift that's going on right now until mid-September, and because your birthday is right then anyway, it's intense. Like, this is a huge, huge year for you. 50 is a very big year for you for career, for getting on with it, so to speak. And then Saturn, the trine that I spoke about also, and I've got chills all over my body talking to you. So Uranus is transiting your house of marriage and partnership. The Uranus on your north node at 28 degrees is the same degree of the eclipse in trine. So that's all trining your north node, which is fortune. And then you've got Saturn's the last leg of the trine, and it's about to go into your third house, but currently it's going back over money. So a huge part of what you're dealing with this eclipse is wrapping up the story about how you take action around money and how that energy can be a bit bipolar. And that means, you have it all or you have none. And it comes and it goes, and it can be really frustrating for you. If you know that is about to come to an end, when Saturn goes direct, it's only 1 degree back in your house of money. It'll get back out of there very quickly, and I can even tell you when, if you give me a second here.
Okay.
It has to get to 2242, and it gets to 2242 it'll be out on the 22nd of October, okay?
Okay.
So that actually, I'm going to give you a slightly earlier date. It'll be out on the 9th of October. So you're really moving towards, and because Jupiter changes signs then as well, it's a huge time for you as well. And that's really when things will come wide open for you, okay? So you're everything is going to kind of break open for you in October, and you're going to really start to feel better when Saturn moves direct at the end of this week, okay?
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited for you because it's really a lot of stuff. And I would say pay attention to the people who are going to be helping you, and watch out for saying the wrong thing or miscommunicating what you're trying to get at, and watch out for ego and how you communicate. But it'll be okay. I mean, the solar return for you is going to be really supercharged because right after the sun returns to your natal sun, it's going to hit your Pluto. And it does that every year on your birthday. And so it's really, 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 and I can't stress it enough, a year of change for you. Big time.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And
yes,
big
ma'am.
time for your career. So it's going to be good. Just hold on to that. And I know I'll talk to you again soon, but I want to say thank you for the call. Thank you for your patience. And
always a pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of your day. And happy birthday.
Yes, ma'am.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Okay, and that's me. So we're going to just label that Shelley so I don't call on myself, which is good. And hang on 1 second. Let's see. We're going to go to 651. Hi, 651. How are you?
Hi, Shelley. This is Linda. Wow.
I'm sorry. You said Brenda?
Linda, Linda.
Oh, Linda. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay.
Have you called before?
You're having a rough morning. We are too.
Yeah, I'm having a super rough. It's ridiculous. Like, what the heck?
I know. I've been awake this morning and wondering why.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah, definitely the energies.
Well, that's what I want to know. What's happening in my chart right now?
Mm-hmm. Everything for you is all the eclipse energy fell in primarily the Leo side falls in marriage and partnership, and so because of that, again, Leo creativity, leadership, all the Leo archetype, and then you've got the Uranus energy is in communications, your Gemini house, the third house. So again, it's siblings, neighbors, small animals, communication, thought, and expression. So again, and it's around Aries things, which is how are you expressing yourself to others so that they may understand where you're coming from. And unfortunately, Uranus just went retrograde. So for you, that energy is pulling back and you're having to rethink some of what you're doing. And it's also autonomy, how you bring the autonomy into an educational arena, into your thought and how you interact with people. And so you're just readjusting and you're going back over the vision and where you want to go in your mind and how you break it down to be the person you want to be in how you express. And I don't know if that even made any sense, but what you're trying to do is readjust the vision for where you're going to go on your own, how you're going to commit to your own personal vision and your own understanding of how energy expresses out. How can I put this? I'm honestly trying to tune in to figure out how that retrograde is affecting you, because it is affecting you. So Uranus going forward in Aries wants you to basically be a salesperson or market yourself, or it gives you energy that is very dramatic and masculine. So masculine ways of expression are very I'm just going to do. I want to do. And that's kind of how it comes out, especially with the eclipse and the trine in fire, is that it's about acting before thinking. Uranus retrograde in Aries means that now you have to do a little more thinking before you can actually take the action. And because it's at the end degrees, it means this is really, I think we established last week, it's the second to the last retrograde in Aries at the end degrees. Next year is the final one. So you have 2 chances to adjust how you intend to move forward with what you want to give the world. And honestly, because it's Uranus in the third house, I would say there is something going on with broadcasting, writing, or something that's Gemini in expression, which means electronic media. So it can be the internet, it can be a blog, it can be a podcast, it can be any type of electronic expression. And you're kind of fine-tuning that. So really, if you've been thinking about doing something like that, you might have a little bit of difficulty getting it to culminate because of that unexpected element of Uranus, that something that was appearing to move forward might now be on hold. But it just gives you the opportunity to really review, moving towards the final review of how you really want that to manifest in your life. Okay?
Okay.
And then Saturn in Sagittarius just is at the beginning degrees of your house of soul group, like I just told Vaughn in the last call, that it's that arena of finding people who support what you want to do in a career. And because Saturn's at the end of its retrograde and it's about to go direct, you're going to be finding other people. I got chills when I tell you this. You're going to be finding other people to help you move forward, and potentially there will be either someone from a foreign culture, or you'll have an opportunity to move into a new career arena, or someone at a distance may be able to help you. And that's coming in as Saturn goes direct. It's going to culminate in this action that you're going to find, okay? And I would just be a little bit cautious because Uranus is now retrograde in the trine, and that means that while the structure is being created, some of the information and understanding isn't necessarily going to be fulfilled right away. So, and I just want to tell you, anybody listening live, I'm going to be cut off unless you're on the phone. I have more time on the phone, but it's 1 minute till the end of the show and on the live broadcast. But we'll still be talking on the phone, and it will be in archive if you want to listen to the rest of it in archive. But yeah, so all the energy for you falls in expression, soul group, and partnership. So you're probably finding that a marriage or a partnership is going through a transition around understanding of how to incorporate a creative expression and taking action on some type of creative endeavor. And maybe around children, but definitely is about ego and about getting ego needs met around expression. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to chew on that.
Okay, I'll leave you on that. I'll leave the phone attached. But thank you for the call. I appreciate your patience too. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Let's take 973. Hello, 973. How are you?
Hi, Shelley. This is Jackie. 1-5-1965.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi, sweetie.
I've got you right here. It's so good to talk to you. You're someone who grounds me a little bit, I think. So that Capricorn energy is awesome. What can I do for you today?
Well, I'm ready to move forward, and there's a lot of things that I'm thinking about pushing and getting done because I've been in a holding pattern, and I know that there's going to be some resistance, whether, in my personal life and my career. So I'm just trying to figure out the best way to navigate it moving forward, minimize.
Okay, well, definitely for you, I think some of that, the retrograde energy for you is going to clear up closer to January. That it's frustrating now, but Saturn is going to help tremendously for getting people to get on board with the things you've been trying to do, because Saturn is at the end degrees of your 11th house. Seems like everybody who got through today who's calling, Saturn's in their 11th house. And for you, Saturn is directly on your Venus-Mercury conjunction at 21. So all three are there. And then you have 22 degrees south node. So Saturn basically is really having you, well, it's been frustrating you because your desires and how you express yourself has not been met with a lot of positivity lately, because Saturn wants you to grow your muscles and really, and what you're doing, and I love this, the Abraham, if you ever listen to Abraham Hicks, the Law of Attraction podcast, they talk about having a desire and then letting it go. And when you have resistance, it's about learning how to allow. And Saturn has been building up your muscle of expressing desires. So the desires go out into the universe. And according to the law of attraction, as soon as you have that desire, it manifests in your world. But if you don't let it in, then you have frustration and stress. And that can create the negative energy. So Saturn right on that. Venus rules desires. It's the realm that Venus deals with, and Neptune as well. But what's happening is Saturn is holding you back from those desires, but all those desires are going out into the universe and creating what you want. So when Saturn goes direct, Saturn can create the structure, the physical structure. Moving into Capricorn is going to just seal the deal, because Capricorn is about structure. So when you're having the desire, Saturn on your desire nature right now, it moves forward and in December and goes into Capricorn, and then the manifestation happens. And not only does it happen then, but Saturn moves into your 12th house, which also triggers Neptune energy for you, which is at the midheaven in career for you. And on top of that, Jupiter's moving into alignment with Jupiter and with Neptune in your midheaven, which is your fame point. So you do have some fame coming your way. I would highly suggest that you just know that it's on the way. And Jupiter is fortune, it's transition, and definitely next year is going to be really big for you. You've got Jupiter transiting the first 6 months that it's in Scorpio will be in the last degrees of your house of education and spiritual seeking. So you're going to be having like this spiritual awakening coming in for you. And definitely by the end of the year, Jupiter gets to like 20 degrees in December. I will look it up here real quick for you. Jupiter is at 16, so it's within 3 degrees of your Neptune, which is opening you up. And then it retrogrades the early part of next year to help you really understand your power. And then the second half of next year, moving till Jupiter goes into Sagittarius, is all about making your dream happen. And it's going to happen for you. Next year is really big for it to manifest. And it also means that you have to incorporate spirit and trust with, literally what I'm getting is the path of spirit, that you have to follow the path of spirit to make that happen. Does that make sense for you?
Yes, it does. My spirit is nudging me to go to a place and go do some work over there. And I know that there's some resistance there, but my spirit has been calling me to go take care of something. And I've been, like, reluctant because I'm trying to avoid conflict. And, you know, I want to do it, but I'm not looking forward to
You can't avoid conflict.
The interaction.
Mm-mm.
You said I can't avoid the conflict?
You cannot. Jupiter is in Libra, and what Jupiter in Libra is doing for you is saying, well, okay, so Libra wants to avoid conflict. Jupiter wants to act in self-interest. So when the planet of self-interest gets into the sign of cooperation, it basically takes back the reins from having to always do things to please other people. And so what it's telling you is you have to face your fear of people being upset with you. And that's holding you back. It always holds us back. Mm-hmm. Whenever we do things to avoid people going against what we know we want to do, we shy away from it. We, you know, like, who wants to, I mean, other than an Aries maybe, and sometimes Scorpio, you know, most people I think are peace-loving people. They don't want the stress, right? But Jupiter wants it to come out. It wants to speak its truth. It wants you to speak your truth. And sometimes that means that the other person is not going to do or behave or receive that energy the way you want them to. So when Jupiter gets to Scorpio, Scorpio likes a fight. Scorpio is very dramatic. Scorpio will drop a bomb and wipe everything out to make a point. So Jupiter is getting to Scorpio in October, which means that now you're going to be learning, because Jupiter is in your house of higher education, you're going to be learning about the power that Jupiter has. And the reason I say power is because Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, has power because it's willing to cut its losses and walk away. But that being said, Jupiter wants to make it work. It wants to commit. That's what it does. It understands the value. It understands the value of passion and depth of understanding of another person's perspective. And that's its talent, is it understands where you're coming from instantly. And so having Jupiter, which also likes to expose things, and I don't think people realize, like, Jupiter and Scorpio sometimes, I mean, definitely the way I looked at astrology when I first started was that a planet goes into a sign and now it's immersed in that energy. It can be immersed in it, but it still carries the signature of its own personality. And the signature of Jupiter's personality is it's taking care of its own interests. And its own interests are speaking out for what it sees. And so when it goes into Scorpio, Scorpio is about hiding things because they feel very exposed. So they keep things away from the public because emotionally it's very deep and very exposed. So when Jupiter, which likes to expose things, goes into Scorpio, we're going to have a lot of hidden information coming out. And it's going to be a year of scandal. Honestly, I'm kind of, I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, so I'm kind of looking forward to it in a way. It's like a lot of the stuff that has been kept from us and can be in a duplicitous way, can be in self-interested ways, is going to come out. And so for you, you will get much more connected to your ability to have power around information. You will know things about things that you had not previously understood that will be powerful for you because now you're aware of it. And you may choose to hold it off for a while, but the process of Jupiter going direct in Scorpio and retrograding in Scorpio and going back direct again is a process of understanding the information, what to do with it, how it affects you on a deep level, and then move forward, and it will come out. Ultimately, it has to come out. That's what it's going to do. It may not come out until next year, but when it comes out, it moves into your house of career, and then that's also the energy of Sagittarius. Jupiter in its own sign of Sagittarius next year in the fall is going to be very powerful for getting things done, which we've been trying to do but have had that frustration of Saturn retrograde in Sagittarius lately. Jupiter in Sagittarius is going to be a doer. And it's like, okay, let's roll up our sleeves, and now nothing's going to hold me back. We're going to get this done. So, you've got this process over the next year until roughly August of next year when Jupiter gets to Scorpio. Let me just look it up for you real quick so you know how long you have. The energy is in the Sagittarius house. So that means it's in the higher education and understanding house. Jupiter gets to 20 degrees next September. So around the 20th of September, that's when you're really going to be in the spotlight and you're also going to that's when Jupiter's on your Neptune. That's when Jupiter's on your midheaven. That's when Jupiter moves houses from learning how to have what you need in your career and your dream to actually doing your career and your dream. So this next year is really getting real with your passion and your understanding of spirit and your understanding of the depth that is there. And it is potentially, it's travel, it's long distance, it's higher understanding, so you may be guided to move, to do that. And if you already feel that, I think when Jupiter gets to Scorpio, it's about commitment. Right now, it's about balance and other people, but when Jupiter gets to Scorpio, it's about major life change. It's the Pluto energy then, and that's major life change. You never go back. So October is a big time.
This October coming up. I do want to move.
This October and next October.
I do want to move. I want to move to another location so that I would have more room and privacy, but that's where the resistance has been. But it's not that I want to stay stationary there. I just want it to be like that, my anchor home. But I do want to do something where I travel rather than just staying stuck in a box.
It's coming, and you've got all the planets for the Leo planets were in your 8th house, which is also the Scorpio house by nature. And so now you have Sun, Mercury, Moon, Vesta, North Node, and Mars in Leo in your 8th house. And they're going over Uranus, Pluto, and Mars in Virgo, which is highly potent. Huge, huge energy around research, understanding life and death, the process of one thing dying and another thing beginning, and health, partnering, commitment to partner, and also commitment to self with the Sun going into Virgo on Pluto-Uranus conjunct in your chart. It's about how to get ego needs met within a partnership, and also because it's Virgo works alone. So it is kind of this upheaval around how am I going to do what I need to do when I really, really want to be alone, but also I need to connect with other people to do it. I get it because I have that Pluto-Uranus conjunction in my chart. And it's in Virgo, and I have Sun in Virgo. So it is about right now, since Saturn went to Virgo, has been this really strong time of just wanting to pull in and be alone So I completely get it. And I understand that privacy issue, especially in the Scorpio house. You want that privacy. You don't want everybody to know, but I've got news for you. Jupiter is moving towards your Neptune at your midheaven, which means you have things that are hidden and depth of understanding that will ultimately have to be brought out into the public eye. Because Neptune's on the midheaven. That's part of your life purpose, and honestly, part of your dream is to bring some of the deeper understanding you have, and maybe even like mediumistic qualities or death, like your life purpose in this world definitely revolves around being a sage, being a wise person, and bringing understanding to the masses. And it's coming, all right?
Right, that's why I want to move so I can develop it there. I see what you're saying, because I hear that from a lot of people, but where I'm at right now, I'm like, I feel caged in, even though I want to be alone, just to go within and ground, because I'm very empathic. I mean, to the point where sometimes it overwhelms me. I mean, I would just bust out breaking in sweat. But I need a place of serenity to be able to feel that connection. But, you know, I feel what you're saying. I just didn't fully understand it. I'm going to have to go back and listen and take notes and do my research from that standpoint. But I know that what I'm doing now is not what I need to be doing for the rest of my life.
And that's good that you know that. And it's on its way. And I want to just tell you real quick, and we may get cut off. I hope we don't, because I just want to let you know, the way I see the energy of Sagittarius spiritually is very clean and white and bright and devoid of a lot of clutter. And, you know, as a Saturn and Pisces person, I'm attracted to clutter as a protective mechanism. And you also have Saturn and
I'm trying to declutter too. Go ahead.
Exactly. And Neptune is going through that house, and it's difficult, but Uranus in the third house, which is an air energy, an air planet in an air house, is helping you declutter. But I don't be so hard on yourself. It's a process. But as Jupiter hits your midheaven, and then also Saturn gets into your first house. Now you've got 2.5 years of Saturn in the 11th house, which is the Neptune house. It's going to be really doing the work for you behind the scenes, and you're probably going to want to be alone still, even as Jupiter hits your midheaven. There's a dichotomy between wanting to be alone and wanting to share all this. So maybe if you can bring people into your sphere, that will help until Saturn gets to your first house and brings you out into the public. But your chart, because your house of money is all, it has 14 degrees of Aquarius, so you can have the public energy in there. But then the rest of your money house is Pisces, which means earning things kind of behind the scenes, earning money behind the scenes. So having Neptune at the midheaven, having Saturn transiting your 12th house, having Pisces in the house of money, all these energies, I've got chills everywhere. You're doing behind-the-scenes work, hidden work, and you may have to earn money and do career, even with the public eye, and bring people into your hidden sphere. That's part of it. If you can find out how to do that, that's going to give you a better understanding. So you may just have to go away and create that center where people come to you in that cleansing clarity. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does.
So you're creating the safe place in that zone, and they come to you because you can't be out there letting people sway your energy. They have to come into your higher vibration. So that's what you'll be working on for 2.5 years. Okay? And it's and the dream's happening. The dream's coming, but it's going to be a struggle because you've got the square energy between your Venus. Mercury is in Sag, which does have more of a public eye energy, and then you have Virgo, which squares Sagittarius, and that's all in the private side. So it is learning how to navigate those waters of public-private. And I have the same energy. I mean, I definitely have that dichotomy in my chart because I have my radio podcast, and that's a public thing, and I love it, but I do it from my home, so it's my safe zone. I create my safe zone. So,
that's what I want to do, too.
It's about that for you. Yeah. And you've got the Uranus in your third house, which can be podcasting and it can be that broadcasting. You get your word out, but you have your safe zone and you know what you can do. So, you know, it's just a matter of finding it. And you'll do it. And I would suggest you get into podcasting. And if you do, then, you know, we can be on each other's show.
Okay.
Support each other.
All right. Okay? Thank you. Thank you so much, Shelley. I do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I do appreciate it.
Thanks, Jackie. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, my love.
You take care.
Namaste.
Okay, bye-bye. Namaste to you. And that's the show. You made it through. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to next week. And it doesn't matter how soon I get on air. I still have issues at broadcast time. So anyway, we'll try and make it better next week. Take care. Have a good week. Know that things are shifting and changing rapidly. And just ground, hug a tree, love your kids. Take care. Bye.
Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com. To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.